What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
We are on location for this podcast episode. We are at one of our newfound favorite places.
Yes, close to where we live in
Yeah,
Franklin.
very close. It's in Franklin, Tennessee, and we have the honor of being at Herban Market.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our new favorite jam. And we are here with the owner.
Co-owner.
Founder and co-owner of Herban Market,
yes.
Ashlea Hogancamp.
Yep.
So nice to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for inviting me. It might be my first podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I think it
So
might be.
we're breaking you in.
Yeah.
But he
podcast.
said before we got everything set up, you have been on like radio before, like talking about
Yes.
Market
yeah.
stuff.
A variety of things, but maybe not podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We're
First
actually
for everything.
in the restaurant talking too. So we have all this fun, people sound in the background. So it feels really cool.
Yeah, I was telling Kels, I was like, it's probably hard to get a moment when it's quiet in here because it's like you guys do breakfast, you guys are busy during lunch, it's like.
And it's 7 days a week. So,
So yeah.
even just scheduling maintenance or something is challenging because it's nonstop.
Yeah.
And nonstop buzz, which I think adds to the fun of the energy,
Yeah.
being here.
It
Totally.
seems like you're always busy in here, though. I mean, even when we were like talking back and forth about scheduling the podcast, I was like, there's not a time when they're not busy in there. So it's
No.
like, there's going to be noise, there's going to be people, it's going to be like in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we wanted. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah. This is a good time, though. We were able to find a spot.
Yeah, we really appreciate you doing this with us. So let's dive right in.
Well, I want to know about the founder, co-owner thing. Tell
Okay.
us, dive into that.
So co-founder with my husband. His name's Matt Hogancamp. And then we still co-own together. So it's just the two of us that have put a lot of sweat equity and blood, sweat, and tears into this and a bunch of pennies. And so it's just grown with work and mission to serve people first. And then, so a lot of, I think, businesses realize capital and cash flow is really important,
Mhm.
to continue to grow and invest in your employees and your staff and your community. And so being co-owner was really important because then you don't have any other vested interests from other people for money's sake alone, because they may or may not share the same mission. And so this is a pretty hardcore mission to serve people the absolute best quality food that's void of chemicals and pesticides and artificial stuff that our bodies don't recognize. And so being co-owner is it's more of a, I'm more proud of it now after going into our 8th year to be able to say that, just because it's taken a lot of sacrifice to do that.
I bet.
And not many people do it, because it's tough.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you come up with the concept and like what made you want to like create this?
So I feel like my story started with marrying Matt. His family were a bunch of chiropractors, and I feel like I married an organic family. His grandmother, his Mimi, was brewing kombucha, 50, 60 years ago, and they called it mushroom tea. And
Wow.
they were just kind of dating and then marrying into that family. I saw how healthy and happy they were. And so it just opened up things that I had never been exposed to before, and how they were treating their bodies and able to obtain health and, mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health in such an easy and fun way that it was inspiring. I was practicing architecture in Houston, Texas with my husband, and then I accidentally got pregnant with my first daughter, Ayla.
Aw.
And that kind of sent me into questioning all of the things I had learned from his family about lifestyle. More so, once you're like, everything you put in and on your body is affecting another human, then it just kind of exponentially made my interest greater. We had her in 2014, May of 2014. And then it was that fall that I was trying to balance career as well as being a mom, as well as now researching every product that I put in and on my family's body. And so we were around the table one evening. I had run through Whole Foods and grabbed a bunch of products to rush home to see her for like an hour and a half before she had to go to bed. I was a weekend mom, that's what it felt like. And then I was also skimping on career. And then I was frustrated because I had overpaid for a product. And so I was frustrated that you couldn't just go into a place and it was vetted, like truly vetted, not just for marketing purposes, but truly it was clean.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was like, my gosh, I got to like find some more time to research. And it felt like another full-time job. And so I was venting to Matt and he said, that's what we should do. We should open a health food market. And so I think I still had post-pregnancy hormones kicking in. She was about 6 months old. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. We should totally quit our careers and sell everything. I mean, we sold our house and sold all of our furniture, and we moved from Houston, Texas, to Franklin because we just did research and wanted well-traveled families mainly. We knew moms do most of the shopping. No offense to dads, but moms are the primary ones who research and care about what they're feeding their kids and manage the health of the family.
Yeah.
So we wanted families, we wanted moms, and we wanted well-traveled families because then if you've been exposed to good quality, then you appreciate it and you see value in it.
So how many places did you look at moving to? What was Franklin one of 5, or how many places were you kind of scoping it out as far as everything?
We sold our house in early May of 2015. And we had no idea how many pennies we were going to have from that. I mean, pretty much pennies looking back on it. It's a miracle that we started a business and still have it operational now. But we knew we wanted to be closer to family, which is the western part of the state of Kentucky. And so we just wanted to be a day's drive, like 6 hours. So that was kind of fun just to tour around, like a radius around. So it's within 6 hours of the western part of Kentucky. And we looked in the Carolinas, we looked in St. Louis and even Chicago areas and down, to Memphis and around to Nashville. I had family here in Franklin.
Okay.
And so that kind of put it on our radar more so. And we just did research and found that there wasn't really something like this. So we landed on Franklin.
So what did it start out as? Was it originally just a market and then it kind of expanded into this that it is now?
So the wall behind you, the half wall was a full height wall. So we took over the space on the other side of it and it was all organic market, health food, supplements. We had drip coffee and then we had oils and balsamics and things that would make convenient, healthy living, to where you could come in and get what you needed to go home and make dinner without going to the farmer's market and another store for this thing and, another farmer for this. And then 5 weeks after we opened, we had such a demand for food, prepared food. We literally popped up card tables and induction burners and toaster ovens. And we started making 4 sandwiches. And then we just grown to offer more and more, not having a ton of traffic at that time. We had no marketing dollars. So this was just word of mouth. This was just serving every single person and hoping they would come back. We would, put a lot of money into produce. Well, in 2 days, your kale starts to be sad looking. Still amazing organic kale. It just needs to be eaten.
Yeah.
But shoppers coming through don't want to get 2-day-old kale. They want fresh out of the field kale. So we started taking those things and just making soups out of it and then selling that. So we went from sandwiches to soups to salads and we just got to the point very quickly in about a year and a half that we were selling out of everything we had prepped and made before lunch hit.
Wow.
So then we had people mad at us, right? They came at 11:30 and we're already out. We'll make more, add more equipment. It was we were done. We had no more space. We didn't have the money really to add more equipment. And so we just made a decision. We either shut it down, the prepared food piece of it, or we expand. And so that's what we did. We opened to the public in 2019, what you see now. And so it was going full. We thought we were preparing for full growth, but we're already out of space now. So that's encouraging because you've got a huge volume of people who want real food.
Right.
Just without all the fluff, the preservatives, the artificial things, that either their children have dietary needs or they realize the inflammation that certain things cause on their body. So it's been kind of cool to be able to serve people that aligns with our mission, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool. And we were talking about this too. I told you, the vibe when I came in here. It's these upscale quality food with not the pretentiousness. So you feel like you're just going into this very relaxing space. And, you know, you could come in here with a friend, your family, have a coffee, I mean, you guys have alcohol too. We love the wine here. But there's so much to offer on the menu too. Like TJ was saying, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And again, I love just the feeling of like, I don't have to dress up. I don't have to look a certain way to be here. You know, I can experience this high end food, but like you said, you're a girl that just wears a ball cap a lot of the time. And so like, you're very much in this vision. So I love that. Very cool.
Our tagline, we've used this since the beginning, but it seems to be the most like common thing that describes us is to eat real and be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like people come in suits and people come in really dressed up, and then you have people in yoga pants and they just got finished doing a sauna, you know, sweat or whatever, and that you can all share the same quality of food.
Yeah.
You know, my grandma asked me, she's passed away now, but when we first opened, she said, well, what does organic mean anyway? And I said, well, it's what you thought you were buying when you went to the grocery store. You just want an apple. You just want a sandwich that doesn't have things that are harming your body, whether you know it or not, you know? And so it's to us, it's like, it's to the point. You talked about the environment. So my background's architecture. So materiality is really important. So if you see something that looks like wood, it's wood.
Right.
If you pick up an apple, it's an apple. Like nothing's trying to be something it's not. And even our kitchens, if you've noticed, our kitchens are pulled forward. Like it's the transparency of what we're doing and how we're doing it. We wanted people to have that connection. We can't show you the farm. We don't have a window to the farms growing the food, but we want it to be as close to that as we can.
Yeah.
I want you guys to see the farmer walking in with muddy boots, dropping off eggs, because then you're like, oh, wow, someone cared about the animals. Someone cared about the food that they're growing, because then that has healing effects as well, you know, on your body and your consumption of it. So
Yeah. Visually, I mean, the layout seems very intentional. Like you were saying, like
Very open space, a lot of clear glass. You can see through everything.
Transparency is the word that comes to mind.
Yeah.
You just want to be transparent, like you said. I want you to see everything that's going on, and the thing that amazed me when we ate here, Kelsey, was like the quality of food. I mean, easily you go to Nashville and pay, you know, a huge amount of money for like great quality.
And I would still even say, like, I felt like what I got here compared to like some money I've spent in Nashville, I've been like, okay, that really wasn't. You know, like you can taste the freshness. Like I had the burger. It was like the French onion.
Do we have a mushroom Swiss?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So good. I just died. And like their potato salad. Okay. This is just a potato salad.
Oh my gosh.
But you're like, okay, it's a potato salad. No. This
is unlike any other potato salad I've ever tasted.
Yeah. I don't know what you put in there. There's a certain herb.
Mint.
Is it mint?
There's a variety of herbs.
There's a bunch of
Our
them.
executive chef, he loves herbs.
But the flavor in that potato salad, because I got the turkey sandwich and I got the potato salad. And I was like, Kelsey, you've got to try this freaking potato. I don't know what they did. And now we get it every time.
Well, and the wines too. So like, obviously your mission in the food, I feel like I can tell just from looking at the wines that you all have available. They're mostly all organic, sustainably farmed, natural wines. We got Amorica. We love Amorica. We've had experiences with it before, and we got that when we came here. And we also feel like the prices on the wines are really great too. Like you can get a bottle here for under 20.
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple if people want, you know, some options, but most of it we try. That's everything in the store. We try to find like the best quality for the best price. And then our mission is we're not hiking it up. Like I went to a restaurant in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and they had the same wine, one of the same wines we have. And I was like, what? Like, they are like, no, we're just going to get a beer. Because I'm not paying 4 times what, you know.
I know. And what sucks is like a lot of the time you want wine. You don't want to have a beer. And I felt like we could come here and get a full meal, get a bottle of wine. And I was like, oh, I feel really good about that purchase.
Oh, yeah. Last time we were here, we split a South African Rosé Brut. Oh, that was so good. What made you want to like carry the wine? Like, how did that element come into like the healthy, you know, food lifestyle that you were trying to present here?
I think life needs moderation and balance. I think we try to overcomplicate things sometimes, and some people are extreme. None of this. Do this for this many days. I just think we just need more of a rhythm in life, and sometimes that just requires a glass of wine with friends. Now, do I say you should drink wine breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day? No, but I think if you want to have a good bottle of wine with a friend, like you should have options, and you should have the cleanest option at the best price. And so we try to get like biodynamic, sustainable. A lot of ours are old world because unfortunately the new world wines tend to be. You can taste the. To me, it's almost like metallic that you can taste, and then you just know about the soil and you know about the water sourcing and the things.
Yep.
And California wines, I mean, I just tend to not drink them.
Yeah.
Also, just knowing climate issues they have with water and the way that things are grown affects the quality of the product. And so we wanted such a vast option for every person, for their diet, for their wants, needs, restrictions. You know, we have a lot of people who think because we own Herban Market that we are on this extreme weird diet they don't even know the acronym for.
Yeah.
And it's not true. I would say we're like Weston A. Price is probably the best description. If you're not familiar with them, I highly recommend going to them. But they're probably 50 or 60 years ahead of the world in diet, health, and understanding the body and the immune response and system. But it's just kind of you eat more fresh vegetables in the summer. You know, you eat more wild game in the fall. You eat more preserved canned goods and meats in the winter. You know, and it's just naturally how our seasons are, is what we, our family, tend to eat. And I think that gives good balance, as well as you may have more rosé wine in, you know, the early summer than you do in the winter, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's good for our bodies and our minds and our hearts to have this kind of joy with food and beverages. So we just wanted a vast options for people, and that includes wine and beers as well.
That's cool. It's really cool.
I love that. I do. I agree with that too. Like, I love how you're saying it's not just like physically better for you, but for your mind too. And like how seasons are designed in this world for a reason, and how we celebrate certain things at certain times. And it helps us to have this ever changing, but also things being consistently the same at the same time. But then they are ever changing. I don't know. That's one thing I love about wine is like where it grows, like the terroir, like from year to year, depending on, you know, the season, they'll have more rain or more this or more that, and you can get a totally it's still the wine, it's still, you know, the same, but it's also different. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like our world from the beginning of time. Like these things all exist, but they're ever changing, but they're still the same. And it's like, how are we going to treat it? Are we going to treat it with respect? Are we going to cultivate it? And I don't know, like the diet to me, almost like the word comes to me is just like truth. Like, I don't know why, but like truth and trust. And it's just like, I'm having a product, something that I know is from its truest nature, and I can trust it, because I feel like we've been really misled for the past. I mean, especially like I remember growing up as a kid, I feel like my parents were very unaware of like things in the grocery store. Like people just thought like, oh, like there's a whole push on milk. Like this is great for you. Like drink it all the time and have these strong bones. And like there's just been this like marketing campaign to people surrounding food for so long, thinking like cereal is really, really good for us. I mean, when I was a kid, I just remember always seeing cereal commercials, and like
Yeah.
I wanted that box of cereal because it attracted me with the colors and the things like that. And like, but I felt like my parents weren't really like given options. You know, we weren't a wealthy family, and it was kind of like,
Same here.
we can just try to, you know, eat what we can for our family. And they still did a lot of home cooked meals, like casseroles and stuff. I grew up north, so there's a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of canned stuff from my grandma's generation. So I almost felt like my grandma's generation was eating healthier than my mom, because I remember her always making things like from the ground. Like there was all these gardens, and then and then there was this shift, and I don't know if that was like the 70s
Convenience.
and 80s. Yeah, like convenience.
Yep.
But I'm hoping that we're starting to kind of go back the other way.
I think it's through education and awareness. People are just now finding out how sick our food is making us. It's the marketing. And I'm a big supporter of capitalism, but honesty. I think like we've talked about transparency and we've talked about authenticity, and but I think honesty in all of it. The food pyramid, it was probably one of the worst things that has ever happened to the American diet. You know, it's total garbage, and people are trusting it. And it's the marketing of it, right? They made it bright and colorful so kids ask for it. And I respect that they're able to do that. But then when you get the box of cereal, it shouldn't be loaded with artificial dyes and sweeteners that other countries do not allow. I mean, they are forbidden. If you look at like Fruit Loops in France versus Fruit Loops here, they don't have this stuff that's allowed here.
Right.
And so, but those things are harming our children's minds, our children's development. And so it's, excuse me, I think honesty in education through all of it is really important.
Yeah.
I'm choking up.
No, you're good.
You're just getting passionate.
Yeah. I do feel though, like it is crazy how much more important all of this is becoming to people. And it's nice that, you know, here they, like what you were saying, I want people to be able to come someplace like your original journey. You didn't want to have to keep doing the additional research. You want to just go somewhere and be like, oh, I can have this. And I don't need to look up every single little thing on my phone to find out if this is okay. Mm-hmm. You know, because I've got that Yuka app now. I'm like scanning everything all the time. And
literally all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, once you go down the rabbit hole, it's nice to be able to come someplace like this and you don't have to like think about it.
See, I started there. I started pulling that thread on the sweater and then the whole thing unraveled. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I feeding myself and my family? And it's education, it's awareness, and it's being open-minded. I love the saying, you can be open-minded and not worry about your brain falling out.
Yeah.
You can be open to questions and ideas and then research it for yourself and make the best decision, you know, with that information. But whether it's wine or fast food or, you know, cereal that you're buying, it's important that you understand what you're putting on your body. And that can be overwhelming. And that's honestly why Herban started.
Yeah.
Was so that you could walk in and be like, well, wow, like that's $6. Like this other one's $3. Well, why? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it may just be that brand charges more and you can pick. You should have options and make the best choice. But then sometimes that $6 one is one that has a higher level of water quality and sourcing and manufacturing. And, you know, and so you should have those options and understand when you walk into a place that it's vetted, it's clean. You know, seed oils is a big one right now. That, you know, we've in our family really thought all of the chemicals and the artificial everything is harming our bodies as well as sugar, sugars and everything. The way we're pasteurizing everything is, you were talking about milk. Milk's actually really good for us, but it's, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Raw is what our bodies are supposed to have.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have animals on our land, and we're caring for them, and they have good life and a healthy life, pastured out on grass, eating what they're supposed to be eating. Because animals instinctively will eat things they need to have a healthy habit and a healthy body. Because then when we're consuming their meat or their product, their milk, we're consuming their health, if you will. Well, if we're pasteurizing that, we're reducing the enzymes in the milk that our bodies need to digest that. So that's why you're seeing all these dairy allergies. And then you have people who switch to raw milks, like they either have a cow or they buy part of a cow and they're consuming that directly from the farmer. They can drink milk all day.
Wow.
That's amazing.
But it's education, you know, it's knowing.
Yeah.
And then you've got all of these benefits. But I could see why Department of Agriculture are like, we'll pasteurize everything to potentially get rid of any bacteria that's harmful. Because there's a risk there. But that's with a bottle of water. Did they keep it hot on the truck and now it's leaching chemicals into your water?
Yeah.
There's risk with everything.
Yeah.
Talk about this with my children, the risk. And then my daughter likes to quiz me. Well, is there a risk in, you know, and I'm like, well, yeah, because this, you know, so there's a risk with everything, and you make the best decision you can with all the information you know at the time.
Yeah.
And then, but we got to have fun with it. We can't get so burdened. And that's when you might just need to have a glass of wine with friends to, you know, be like, whoo, I got way too stressed out about mold. I'm going to just take it down a notch and enjoy my company and my relationship.
But I feel like that's where a lot of people get stuck in their head, is like they can't move on and like kind of, I don't know, separate the things. Like it's all or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going back to like you guys carrying wine, it's like, well, I'm doing the healthy lifestyle, so I can't have any of this other stuff. and you were saying like in moderation and like enjoying it with friends or whatever, like you can enjoy a good bottle of organic wine or
Totally.
whatever and still stay true to who you are and what you're trying to do for yourself or your family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure your mind has been blown just being a business owner, bringing in all this food and just seeing, once you're in something and seeing the hypocrisy or whatever they're trying to do in the food area.
Yeah.
I'm sure like you're shocked and surprised.
I don't know that I've been more surprised other than more aware and reinforced in what I thought.
In your vision
Yeah.
and what you're trying to do
It's
here.
just been like almost fired, like
Gotcha.
it's just been strengthened.
Yeah.
And no, when we first thought about opening, we were way too extreme. We were like, no dairy, we're not gonna have any sugar. And I was like, no, if somebody wants a candy bar or a chocolate bar, they deserve one. Let's just make it the cleanest, highest quality that we can find, without going crazy overboard, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I mean, anything from the earth is gonna have like potential lead. It's gonna have impurities, but that's okay if your body's healthy enough to process them. I actually think there's benefit in your body recognizing impurity. Like if you have cacao, that's going to have things from the soil. That's why your soil health is important,
Yeah.
So you can easily get down this crazy extreme thought. Then you just got to back up because stress will kill you then.
Definitely.
You might as well just open a bottle of wine and have a glass of wine and enjoy it and laugh about it and then talk about ideas and do what you can.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have all organic clothing at my house because I've run through. Heck, if Home Depot's so close, I'd probably get all my children's clothes at Home Depot because I'm like on the go. I mean, you guys saw me zipping around here, trying to do a bunch of stuff and in the quickest amount of time. And that the convenience piece is probably the biggest hurdle for us right now. Is how do we give parents the convenience so they don't have this third job, right? Parenting, career, now the burden of like cooking all organic foods.
Right.
So we're trying to we're getting ready to expand again, and we're gonna have grab and goes and take and bakes and like family meals, so parents can decide I'm gonna have an organic meal conveniently and not have to choose. Right? Is it Chick-fil-A drive-through because it's convenient, or do I make it from scratch and have my own garden and I've canned all that? For today's world, we've got to have like the convenience meets the understanding of the purity and the honesty of what you're feeding your family.
Yeah. Well, I had one other question.
I've got a few more questions.
Okay. Well, yeah. So what has like the impact of like owning a restaurant, owning this space, like having this business? What's the impact been with your family? You said you have kids, with your kids and like your relationship with your husband. How's that with all of this?
We've sacrificed. So just this is a new season for our family where I'm trying to say no more because we have said yes to urban and every need of every person who's come through here, whether they're on our staff. I mean, we call it our urban family. Like we take huge responsibility for feeding and investing in every single person to the detriment of our family and our health and our marriage. I mean, so now we're kind of caring for ourselves. We're stepping back and we've got an amazing team right now. I mean, God has just blessed us with new leadership and just a heart to serve people and to help people, and including our family, to where we can step back and care for our kids. I also homeschool, which is nuts.
What?
I'm homeschooling. I have two children. I have an almost 9-year-old little girl who apparently is the same personality as me, which is she's a mover. And I'm homeschooling her, which has been such a blessing, but it's been really difficult to balance the amount of time that we want to give of ourselves to others. And so, we're in like a really cool chapter of caring for ourselves now because the stress, right? We're like eating all this good stuff, but the stress and the lack of sleep and the emotional weight that we carry from others, to help them and guide them has had a negative impact. But just being able to walk through and see like the plate of food sat down in front of a child and knowing like that's what they should be eating, and parents thanking us that this is their yes place. They can come and tell their kids, yeah, you can have that. You can have a treat. You can, that feeds us, That's rewarding to be able to have such an impact on people, whether it's just they had fun eating a cupcake with a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
because that's really, relationships are the most precious thing, I think, in this life. And then food helps us to have that relationship.
All right. So you were talking about family and the staff and everything like that. Like, as a business owner, how do you create, like, what's the vibe as far as like what kind of culture are you trying to create with your staff? Because there's so many. That's the other thing I noticed when I come in. There's so many people working here.
We have 90
And-
employees.
How many?
90.
90 employees.
90 employees, which is insane to even say. Because we started, my husband and I, and 3 part-time employees.
That's crazy. I would have never guessed 90.
I
'Cause
would have never guessed that.
So yeah, as a business owner, and just again with the the standard of food that you guys are what you're trying to do here, how are you cultivating that within the building with your staff?
That's like, how do I summarize this? It has been 7 years working to create a system and a place where everybody on your team is encompassing the way you and your family want to treat other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a culture of respect. So I find it very serious if someone bussing tables is disrespectful to someone making coffee, or a manager is disrespectful to someone washing dishes. Like, I have a big problem with that. I'm gonna love on every single person the way I would expect them to love others. So hospitality, has a term that's serving, right?
Mhm.
You're serving other people, and here's the hospitality definition of that. For me, so I'm Christian faith based. For me, that has such a deeper rooted meaning, and I'm putting myself last, and I'm putting you before me.
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to that relationship, and I think whenever the person knows you care about them, they're easier to forgive when you don't hit the mark. Like, and then if I miss the mark, I'm going to be the first person, or I hope I am, I try to be, that admits it. Humility. Like, I didn't mean for you to take it that way, and then you resolve it. Conflict can be a beautiful thing if it's truth with compassion, and then you resolve, because then you can strengthen a relationship. And so we have a few things to enforce that and encourage that, I guess, is a better way to say it. But sometimes it is enforcement. There's boundaries.
Yeah.
It's whether parenting, you want free play and you want people to have the ability to be themselves and to have personality, and not be so rigid. But you also have to have really hardline boundaries of when they cross that or
Right.
get close to it, and hold them accountable. Some of my best friends and the people closest to me have held me accountable when I needed to be held accountable. And so we have a gossip policy. And so it's all bold, all caps in our training manual and in our policy. And we define what gossip is. And it's saying something negative about another person to a person who can't help us resolve it. So if I go to you and I say, hey, somebody on the Build-A-Bar they have a dumb haircut. You can't help me with their dumb haircut, right? That's gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I are both engaged in that. So it's you being, hey, Ashley, I don't think that was positive. I kind of feel like that's gossip. And you shut it down, right? Because you care about the person on Build-A-Bar who just had someone say something negative. But if I went to you and you were a manager and I said, hey, somebody's not wearing a hat, and by law we have to have our hair covered, you could help me resolve that. Right. So it's pretty well held us to where we can hold our team to when we're disrespecting our coworkers and our guests. Because this can happen if someone's walking up and they're hangry. We get a lot of hangry people. We get sometimes the worst version of people because they're hungry and
I just want my food.
Got bad news. They're, and they walk in and then they're hungry and then we're out of their matcha, and they're, well, we can't turn and start talking negatively about someone unless that manager maybe is going to go help us resolve the person who's mad about matcha. So it kind of just checks all of us, right? To where we're caring about people in a way that creates a culture
Mm-hmm.
that people want to be a part of. Like we've had people thank us when they've come on. Thank you for that gossip policy. I worked at a place before that didn't have that and it was toxic. And it's a virus. It will destroy your family, your workplace.
Yeah,
And so we don't tolerate it.
that's good.
I think it's just people know we love them. Like I love one of my favorite parts of coming to Urban is I walk through and hug everybody.
I noticed.
All 90.
Well, they're
Just
not
kidding.
all here at one
All here
time,
at
but
one
yeah,
time.
I mean,
Hi, hi, hi,
Yeah.
hi, hi.
and so it's funny that the ladies in the bakery, some of them English is not their primary language, and so they all kind of giggle at me because I'm a big squeezer. Like I think it's like kind of gasp some people before, so they get ready for it and they giggle, And but I think it's good because you just have a moment. You don't have hours that you can spend with every single person, but you have a moment where it's just check-in, and they
Right.
know you love them and you're grateful for them doing what they're doing, because whether it's bartender with pouring a glass of wine, or if it's coffee, or it's someone restocking the shelves, or
Yeah,
people want to feel like they're contributing to something bigger than just themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I did notice from the first time we came here, like the staff seemed very happy.
Mhm.
Like they were very like right in the front end when you come in and you order your food, like smiles, like friendly. People look happy to work here. They look very busy. They're not just like sitting there staring or like looking at a phone. Like you'll go places and it's like that. So there's definitely like a vibrantness like here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, and we try to encourage people that are struggling with that. Like you're growing character, but wherever you are, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. And it's
Mm.
like here you're going to learn some amazing skills that take you maybe to the next stepping stone. And I think when people think of it that way, like if I'm going to bus tables, I'm going to be the best dang table busser there ever was. And it's going to be better when I leave than when I came.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you have that, it gives you purpose more than just your own, like, I get paid. Because if you're thinking about that, then you tend to not be very satisfied. But when you get rewarded and paid for doing for others and doing a good job, whatever that is, it gives you a sense of pride in a way that does good for other people.
Yeah.
So I think just some of those things. And then now our leadership is a group of rock stars. And so that's enabled Matt and I to kind of step back because they encompass those same values and mission. And they love on the staff. They're teaching. Like our new executive chef, his name's Bobby Benjamin. He's one of the top chefs in the country. Like we've been so blessed that we were like, we're not good enough for that caliber of a chef. But he feels blessed by being here because he can contribute to something that I think the world needs more of, and it aligns with his honesty in food and flavors and vision. And so just having that kind of leadership
Mm-hmm.
and how it's applied to food, how it's applied to drink, how it's applied to wine, how it's applied to every experience that you have, I think is just, I don't know, it's something pretty cool to just be a part of and witness growing.
Yeah.
So,
Man, to see the growth. I mean, from her standpoint, 8 years ago, to see where she's come. Now you just said you guys were going to expand some more. I mean, you guys are going to own this whole block by the time it's all said and done.
I think this is it. I don't think our landlord's going to let us take anywhere.
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
We're opening next door. We're calling it the pantry because it's going to have its own door from the outside. But it's just, think of like your grandma's general store, just floor to ceiling, stocked with spices. And we're going to move the oils and balsamics so we can get a little extra seating. But like breads and pastries and cheeses and wines and charcuterie and grab and go. So it's just going to be like decked out with things that you can take home,
That's
and
awesome.
so hopefully that serves people a little more or a little better than what we're already trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, I want to know, what is your go-to on the menu?
Ooh, it's according to the mood. Are we doing breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Well, I guess tell us for each.
Okay, breakfast. If I come in, I get on kicks, but my favorite is the breakfast burrito, and I sub the sausage for bacon.
Okay.
I'm more of a bacon girl.
Yeah.
Breakfast tacos are solid. The Matt's avocado toast, it's named after my husband, so that's pretty solid if you haven't had that. Lunch, chicken salad in a pocket. I'm normally really busy and I forget to eat lunch, and so then it's like 2:30 or 3, but I don't want to ruin my dinner appetite, so that's like a good little chicken salad. Have you had ours?
Uh-uh.
So it's dairy free, it's gluten free. It's the best chicken salad I've ever had. It's phenomenal. So you have to try that.
All right.
Dinner. I mean, burger, pizza, salad. What? Citrus arugula salad is like I've had to kind of beg chefs to keep on the menu because it's so good. So good. It's got like goat cheese and citrus and arugula. The mushroom Swiss burger might be one of the best burgers I've ever had. So I agree with you on that
Yes,
one.
I love that one. That was the first thing I had when I came here.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, almost everything on the menu I could roll through. And it's just, you get on kicks of wanting tacos and then you move to pizzas and salads. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Well, we've had so much fun with you. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Yeah, so tell people where they can find you guys
Okay.
on
Yeah.
social media
and where you are located.
yeah.
So Franklin, Tennessee, we are near the intersection of Moores Lane and Franklin Road. Our address is confusing because it's the name of the street that goes through our parking lot, but it's 3078 Maddox Way. Urban, Herban. A lot of people pronounce it Herban. Whatever you want to pronounce it as, urban, Herban, whatever. Just come on. We'll welcome you. Yeah, and we're just going to keep trying to serve people the best we can. And we do have a line. I have to just go ahead and disclose that. I mean, I think our biggest frustration with people now is how busy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to serve people quickly.
But that's because it's so dang good.
Exactly.
7 days a week.
7 days a
What's
week.
your hours of operation?
8 to 8,
8 to
Monday
8.
through Saturday. Sunday, we did reduce our hours just to give the whole urban family a little bit of a breather. So it's 10 to 3 on Sundays. And we just pack in a whole day in 5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just visit and let us know how we can do even better.
That's awesome.
We are 100% seed oil free now, which is a huge deal.
Wow.
We've been trying to work on this for a couple of years now, and Chef Bobby made that happen. So we're 100% organic avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil. So it's, for us, it was not if you go out and eat, you could eat at Urban, but like you can eat here every meal and
That's
you're being nourished.
incredible.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
We try to do that. I mean, we were always kind of looking at the seed oil. So
Now we know.
Now we know.
And everyone else will know. Well, thank you so much, Ashley.
We appreciate you sitting down with us so
Yes,
much.
thanks for
Everybody check out
inviting me.
Urban Market
Oh my gosh,
or
yes.
Herban Market, however you.
Or Herban.
Or
Herban.
Herban.
Yeah, you're going to love this vibe. You're going to love the food. So
Yes.
check it out.
All right. See
Thanks,
ya.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.